for joining us. Well, Maria is a good friend as well as she was my junior in college, and she's achieved a lot, and we're really proud of her. And we're very excited to have her here. She had a lot of achievements, really. She was a research fellow. She taught in NSR first, and then went on to Bangalore, where she taught in St. Joseph University as an assistant professor. And I think I'll leave the rest to you, Maria. We won't waste so much time anymore, so we want to hear you. So it's yours.
Okay, thank you, Pinky. Thank you for the introduction. All right, today I want to talk about the power of research. So why is there power in research? Because research is a very transferable skills, whether you are in economics, social sciences, history, or education, or sociology, whatever field you're in, it's a transferable skills. And today, what we are learning is about the user experience research. So the user experience research, or what in short is called the UX research, is under the human-computer interaction discipline. Okay, I'll just have a brief introduction about myself, like Pinky did, is that how I transitioned to this UX research from academia. It's pretty unconventional in a way, because for 10 years, I was teaching and doing research in universities and college in India. So when we moved to California, US in 2016, I just was like clueless about the country, the continent, what are people's way of thought and culture. So I would read about various, work, and I have always been curious about how my research can be impactful, and how I can do beyond, or not, let's just say aside, not beyond, but aside from academic research. How can my research affect people or millions of people? And I think this is what we all ask ourselves when we get into research. How can my research, beyond just publications or beyond paper, journals, or articles, how can my research affect lives or impact people, or at least maybe change how people deal their lives in everyday situation? So I have always been curious about that. So one time I was browsing through jobs descriptions, and every company seems to have a research and development wing or department. And I was kind of very intrigued about what are the job requirements, or what are the qualifications that they are looking for when they are going to employ researchers in their companies. So then I find this ample of jobs that describe UX research. Then looking down, I saw that they need PhDs in social science or commerce or industries, or any PhDs that have the acumen of research, have a high potentials of research in them. So, but then I realized that you just cannot jump into this, tech companies or technology. So what I did was that after I registered myself at Stanford University and finished the creative course, because creative writing is very important as a storytelling. When you're going to convey what you want to do to your audience, you have to have that good storytelling in your work. So that really encouraged me, and I did a training at the University of Michigan to learn about the UX research. Then again, I did a course at California in Oakland, who was a Google researcher, and he has trained me for half a year, well, almost a year in the UX research. Then at the same time, what I did was that I helped the city of San Jose, that's the California government, in the UX research. So that's the brief journey of the initial journey of me pivoting to technology or tech companies from academia. So how I pivoted was a long period of training and relearning, unlearning what I have achieved. So this UX research is indispensable for tech companies. Why? The thing is that technology or companies like Apple, Google, Samsung, or HP, or all technological companies wanted to know the experiences of their users, their customers. And the more values that they give to their customers, their users, the growth of their market profit. So that is the scenario in today's world, where companies look for how best that they can improve their features. I'll give you an example. If you were using your phone, your Samsung, your iPhone, or your Apple, or any types of phone, you look at various features. And what these researchers, our designers, wanted to know is that they want you to walk you through, like we would say, walk me through the process of how you achieve these goals. Like, how would you, use these features or use these particular apps? So this UX research, or human-computer interactions, was popularized by Apple company. The design features of Apple company is so intrinsic to the users, and which is followed by other companies, where it is based on user-friendly. The user interface of Apple company is what revolutionized the UX research and design. Okay, so this is what is UX research is about, popularized in the 1980s and 1990s, and then it has become, this research has become part and parcels of all companies across all countries and technologies in the world, where they focus on the principle of users comes first, or customers comes first, and wanted to improve the the values they bring to their market growth through their users. So it is also driven by empathy, understanding, deep understanding of the human-computer interaction. Because today we are all surrounded by technology, and human factors become so important. Like, for example, you log into your social media, Instagram or TikTok or Reels and Facebook, WhatsApp. All this is done based on prolonged period of research as well as design. So how do we work? Let me come to the area of how we work. So unlike academic research, the user experience research is based on teamwork. So first we have a kickoff meeting with stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? Stakeholders in academia might be your supervisor for students. Your stakeholders are your supervisors, the research committee of your organizations. These are your stakeholders in academia. Whereas in the tech companies, our stakeholders could be the director, managers, CEO, CTO, all the CXO. So these could be our stakeholders. So now I just want you to imagine yourselves with academic research and the UX research. Just put your mind into two, box. academic research, UX research. So in academic research, what we have, number one, is that the stakeholders who are your professors, your supervisors, your guide, you know, the board of committee members, and it could be your vice chancellor or so on and so forth. Whereas in the tech, I repeat, the stakeholders are the managers, the directors, you know, the engineers, the top engineers are the CTO, so on and so forth. So I want you to draw that parallel table between. So what we do in academy, this is the similarities, okay? I'll come to the similarities later. So the similarities here, number two, is that in academia, is that your stakeholders, you consult with your stakeholders what you want, what your interests are, what type of topic do you want to pursue your research in. Whereas in tech companies, in the UX research, stakeholders they tell you, this is our problem that we're facing. We have a low usage of these features. Before we launched the iPhone 12, we wanted to know how the users are facing these problems, you know, that features. How do we improve? Please find out. This is our problem. So that's how it works. So many of this methodology or the research methods are borrowed in the human-computer interaction discipline or UX research. Many of our research methods are borrowed from social science research or academic research. They are all intertwined, interchangeable. I hope I'm making sense here. So they are all interchangeable. The research methodology are interchangeable, but the main difference is that in UX research, the research is fast, quick, rapid reiterations, always debriefing in consultations with stakeholders, and we work with the team of engineers, designers, analysts, product managers, and like, for example, in academic research, we have evaluative research, which is we research on certain descriptive research. We research on the existing phenomena, the existing culture or the existing situation, societal impact. Whereas in UX research, in tech companies, we do both. In academia, you can do both as well, discovery and what we call generative research, as well as evaluative research. So in tech companies, evaluative research is when we study the existing product, you know, the usability of the existing product. And generative research is when a product is going to be launched and it's not yet used by users. So there's a very clear line between this, whereas in academia, we just use both together, generative and evaluative research. Whereas in tech companies, there's a clear line, whether this is foundational, generative, or evaluative research. So, Pink, should I give you a slide presentation of a few case studies of what I've done with Warner Brothers and California government? Okay, this is I've prepared a small slides presentation for today. Project that we did at the San Jose city government. It's 311 is a city services help. Like in America, we have 911, right? Where you call 911 for emergencies. So this is 311. It's not emergency helpline, but it is a civic helpline. Like there is an abandoned car in our neighborhood. We want to know what this is, or there's a, you know, there's a illegal dumping in our area. So it's a government initiative. We've worked with the mayor's office in California, and So this is a project where we serve millions of populations, residents in the San Jose city. In San Jose is the capital of Silicon Valley in California. So where we served millions of populations, and we tried to be, while we were working, we tried to be as innovative as the people we serve, because, you know, the tech companies in the Silicon Valleys are innovative. They come with good ideas for technology. So this is the functional solutions, and we look at the background. First, I want to tell you is that it's very similar to social science research and the other academic research, is that we look at the background. What is the background of your research? Okay, we look at this. This is the case studies. The city of San Jose serves 1 million of populations, and what we want, the research is that we want to serve as a city that is equitable, vibrant, sustainable, and you know. So we work. This is the drive. This is the motivations of our research. The background. So what is San Jose 311 that we did? It's an omni-channel experience. So we work on Android, you know, iOS, different computers, and it's a machine learning. It's run by AI, artificial intelligence. So what is that? Is any residents can call up and, you know, say their problems, and we want the city to intervene. You know, we want a clean neighborhood. For example, in Aizawl, we say, or any part in Mizoram, we say we want a clean neighborhood, and we are not happy with the garbage dumping of how, you know, how this process is going on. We want a better, effective, more ways of garbage disposals and things like that. These are the background of our research. And so the methodology, the research methodology that we use is number one, usability testing of this product called 311, one-on-one moderated or remote user interview, and tree testing. Tree testing is about task analysis, where we analyze certain tasks performed by our research participants. Who I work with the designers, analysts, data analysts, engineers, sorry for that spelling, and UX researchers. And who are we serving for this research? Is the residents of San Jose, and the duration, the sample size is just 9. And yeah, one thing about UX research is that we use a lot of software platform. It's not difficult. We use platform to synthesize in the sense we use platform to collaborate with various diverse departments. We collaborate on single platform. Like, for example, today we are collaborating on Google Meet, things like that. So we use platform where we sketch, we bring out the experiences. Experience can be the joys and the pain points of our users. So these are the research questions. Research questions, I think, is very important in terms of research. And here in the tech world, the research question has to come after we have a kickoff meeting with our stakeholders, because all the problems that we are trying to solve through our research has to come from the problems that is, you know, that the stakeholders wanted to uncover or, you know, solve. So how do we uncover the problem? So it has to be in sync with what the stakeholders are asking us to do. So a few of our research questions is like, what are the motivations or the roadblocks encounters by our users and things like that? How do we improve, or how do we find opportunities for or to increase engagement on our product, things like that. So these are the research questions. And here, the thing is that in tech world, or here in America, we always look for ways to make our product accessible to, so every company, I wouldn't say every, but the purpose of every institution is to serve equitable and be as diverse as possible, of diverse, employ people of diverse cultures, of diverse you know, diverse identities. And so in one of our project, one thing very important about this project is that it's our accessibility accounting, where we try to make the product useful for the you know, the physically challenged sections of our community. How do we serve them as well? How do we be more inclusive in the use of our product? So we worked with the blind schools, blind colleges in California, and how best that they could use our product. So this is very important if you were to be inclusive in your, you know, in your project, or if you want to know how it's used, or the perspectives of people from underprivileged as well as the physically and you know, disadvantaged sections of the society. So yeah, another thing important, which is also similar to the academic research, is the key insights and recommendations from our research. So it's after we did our studies, our testing with our users, this can go on, and for 3 or even a year, the key insights and recommendations become so useful for our stakeholders, because stakeholders don't have enough time to go through all the details of our work, but they do have time to look into the, you know, the recommendations of what our research bring. For example, in our research, we would say, consider using, you know, concise methods of phone tree line, or prioritize on the most reported requests, you know, so that you could keep it more user-friendly. So key insights and recommendations are very important for our stakeholders. So these are the task process. Our study plans usually comes first with, you know, if our method is one-on-one interviews, we do sometimes with a warm-up, you know, conversation. Hi, how are you? And I'm not here to interrogate you, but I'm here to learn more about your experiences. You know, please feel free. So just warm-up questions, and that's how you know, lighten the moment, so that the participants feels at ease in our interviews, and so that they could perform their task better. This is the usability testing. This is one of the methods of our research. And the key findings of the usability testing, we look at the problems. On the other hand, we also look at the recommendations. And it's also important to quote certain participants' opinions. These are the quotes that I have mentioned about our participants' opinions and their experiences. Like, for example, one said that she's from Asia, I mean India, and she was my participant. She said, I have a slight accent. And we did a study on the virtual agent AI. And the AI could not understand or catch how I say the color red. So that was one important recommendation we made to our stakeholders, is that please make the AI, or, you know, the automated voice message, be able to understand diverse accent. So these are the analysis that we've made, the card sorting. And in research, one thing very important is to know the effectiveness of your research, the efficiency of your research, as also the satisfaction of the research of your work that would influence our users. This is the accessibility auditing of our project, and you use different methods to see whether our product works with the visually impaired as well as physically challenged sections of our society. Okay, these are the user personas, so that we helped our engineers and designers understand our participants. It's more like we want every tech companies want to make their technology more humane, more in touch with reality, with you know, diverse users. So this is the user personas that I've prepared because I've led this project, and I've prepared this, and the user journey, how the users have the journey from beginning to the end, how they have used it. So I've presented in this form, and these are the user personas. This one person is just the employee of a restaurant. She uses 311 sometimes, and just a normal everyday people is how I interview my research. And it's very interesting because we get to get a lot of insights from our everyday people, everyday users. It doesn't have to be a person of that or a person doing that. It's just a normal everyday people is how we gather more valuable insights. Okay, another important features of our research in UX is how our research impact product and affect millions of users. So this is one thing very significant in the UX research is how your research would impact the millions of users of the technological product that you're using. So for example, one impact that my research did for this product is when, the virtual assistant was able to be more intuitive. Intuitive means more user-friendly, and where the interactions was shortened because we made the recommendation that the script and the conversation should not be more than 2 minutes, because otherwise it was more than 5 minutes, and that was not very friendly. So these are the impact that I've made for this case study. Okay, if there's any questions you'd like to ask before I go into the Warner Brothers, a Hollywood studio that I have worked for.
Actually, Maria, I had a few questions. I'll show my face now. My first question, yes. Very interesting because we do a lot of research and things like that. I'm in banking. Is when it comes to research, you need a whole group of people that you need to talk to first, right? And it's very difficult to get their attention because some of the questions, I don't know the base of your questions, how many questions you ask the folks you are getting the information from. First question is, how do you get the buy-in from people to actually sit through the questionnaire, right? So, and my second question is, as someone who's being researched for something so important as a 311 call, I would want to know what the outcome of the research is. So do you provide an outcome to the folks that you did a research on to let them know what's happening, or giving them an update, or where they can go to look at an update? So I'm very curious about those factors.
Yeah, thank you for your question, Somte. I'll first answer your first question is research questions. So how do we come up or formulate our research questions? Yes, this has to do more with always in consultation. When it comes to the UX, human-computer interaction, it always have to come with how we iterate, how we are in consultations with the stakeholders. And you can always go back to the stakeholders and say, am I right? Is this, what? It's always good to clarify with the stakeholders what their main problem are and what is the underlying questions that they have in terms of their product. So we just do not formulate our research questions like that. Like in various part of our research, we have to be always in reiterations or in consultation and synthesize with our stakeholders, because it's only because sometimes stakeholders are always you could be the stakeholders. You come with the various analysis, the results of your product, how it's run, but you're not satisfied because of the, unexpected volume of usage as you have, thought your product would be. So it's always in consultations with stakeholders. I do not, like, for example, if you ask me to do a research on, let's say, TikTok or Instagram, I would not know how to do it right now. I would not know how to do it, because I would first have to work with the Instagram, those team who have been working on Instagram, for example, and where they might have specific problems. So I have to first go and ask them what are the types of problems that they face when they are running the Instagram platform. You know, how researchers or designers are facing problems. So yeah, I hope I answer your first question. Always in consultations with stakeholders, because they know they know the end result. They are the ones doing, who have been in that, who are, you know, who are hands-on that project for a very long time. So it's always good to use the existing data, as well as you know, clarifying and asking more questions to the stakeholders themselves. And coming to your second question is that, what was your second question?
I think it's more around the outcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the 311 impact was that our research was greatly appreciated by our stakeholders. And one thing was that we were able to learn from our research and impact the product was one thing. That the error, I don't want to get too much into the technical jargons, but anyway, the error handling prompts, there were very less error handling prompts, like to inform our users whether what they are doing is wrong or right, you know. So we asked our stakeholders to consider including error handling prompts on the products, on the interface, when, you know, like for example, the virtual agent would say, "Am I right? If I'm not right, please click this line," you know, something like that. So that was one milestone that we made in our product impact. And second was that the virtual agent has now been able to understand diverse accents of users, because when you're serving more than millions of people who are so diverse, it's very important for AI to recognize the diversity of accent and, you know, the English accent. And thirdly, the third impact we made on this project is the usability of limited language proficient population. Like for example, in California alone, okay, more than 50% of the entire population comes from limited English proficient communities. So because of a lot of immigrants, first generation immigrants are not very affluent or do not speak English eloquently. So this is where we ask the stakeholders to consider being more inclusive, to include because if more than 50% of the entire population comes from limited English proficient communities, it's very paramount that they include where they can speak in Spanish or Vietnamese or diverse languages in order to, you know, address their problems. I hope I answered your question, Somde.
Thank you.
Okay. Should I? Okay. Now, how do I share? If you bear with me for a few minutes, can you see it? Is it clear to the participants?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a client project that we did as a team of Zero to UX Research, which is based in California. We did a client project with Warner Brother Games, which, you know, it's a Hollywood studio games. It's very popular. It's a multi-billion-dollar company, and we worked on this research the specific area of our, because research has to be very specific. You don't want a very general research. So the specific area of our research is on live streaming portal, a system called Metron. So this is the overview and objectives of our research. Overview, objectives, research questions, methodologies are very important. I think you all know across all this. So the research that we did was on Metron. It's a live streaming platform like Lord of the Rings, where they run the Lord of the Rings or the movies or games. So this is, since we've signed the NDA, non-disclosure agreement, I cannot display many of the process and the features of the system, but I'll try my best to make it more relatable. So Metron is it's a live streaming portal tools that researchers use in collaborations with the neuroscience team, in collaborations with the analytic team and the rest of the others, and where they try to learn or gather data about the game players, as well as where they, test stream movies and videos or before they launch the movies or video games. So I'll just give you one example is that as I was interviewing the director of the analytical team, he said that when we were going to live stream, when we were going to test play the Lord of the Rings series, the serials, it would go on days and days, and it was too exhausting. So what we want Metron to do is to be more to increase the speed of our live streaming. So this was the stakeholder speaking, okay? So we were like, as researchers, we were very clueless. We were like, how do we come about, recommending through our research to make the Metron run the live testing of movies faster? But then, as research is something so, so interesting and fun about it, as we continue digging in, uncovering the problems, we realized that this could be done by various incorporations with various teams, because like, for example, while we were talking to the neuroscience team, they wanted to know how they can read the emotions of the players, video game players, through the pulse, through the forehead, through the sweat that comes from their forehead, or for example, through the eye movement. So, it becomes realistic. So research is all about, uncovering and digging further and talking more to people across various streams. So our objectives was to identify the pain points of our core users and prioritize roadmap for designers and development teams, and to increase cross-functional collaborations. So this is a small picture I have of Metrons, which I'm not allowed to disclose further. It's how they run the, video games, how they live stream before they launch it, and movies and things like that. So these are all the Warner Brothers characters that they launch. And moderated user interviews. So we also did a survey research, and in order to learn about what are the features that could be prioritized for developers, engineers to make or to create. These are our research questions. And this is the key insights and recommendations of our users. Like, for example, consider integrating the system with the analytical team to enhance collaboration. Another recommendation was that we underline the pain points of our users and make recommendations. How can we have a better navigational tools, or how can we have, how can there be less hierarchy for users, and so that users can have a direct, direct use of various features, so that they don't have to ask permissions. So consider using more instructional guidelines, things like that. These are my detailed findings. This is how we researchers synthesize on Mural. Mural is the software tools that we use to synthesize. This is how we synthesize and work together at the same time. This is how we conduct interviews, moderated constructed, like what type of features do you look for a matron? Simple questions like that. What do you collaborate? So we ask our participants to give us, certain explanations. And one thing about the user experience research is that we don't ask our participants for their opinions, because we cannot tell, you cannot tell about the future of whether you'll use iOS or Apple phone or things like that. So we do not ask our participants about their opinions and perspectives. What we ask is about their experiences. So we let them perform various tasks. This is, how we synthesize, collaborate, and we always have the headings like the pain points or things like that, and we put them with sticky notes. And this is the summary of our key findings. We have two types of participants: core users and consumer users. So this is how we differentiate them, and this is how we analyze our survey results through the use of Survey Monkeys and other Qualtrics tools that we use. This is the user personas. And the product impact that we made is that consider using automatic pullout of data, effective onboarding guides for users and such. And these are the, in order to have the privacy of my teammates, I have blurred their pictures for today. And these are the challenges and the possible next steps for our users. Thank you.
Whatever was said, and the very fact that whatever we do academically could be used in the corporations, and you've been our very own Mizo lady is one of the teams. Applicability can now then omta academic research te antibedon ta chuan engtin nge an career hi kan a chho theng ti kha chu zo na khanita chu ka zo du ber chunia chumi ma chu ke ba ai no khan in recommendations te kha where they applied in total did they do that?
Yes. Thank you for your question. Yes, the first coming to your questions is the career guidelines, right? Yes, this is very important career. We cannot give jobs to our students, right? We cannot give, but we can guide them for employment. How is that? We have to make them stand out. In today's competitive world, they have to stand out. How do we make them stand out is that they do their research in consonance or to the reality that they face. Whether it's technology is useful because we are using it right now for our team, for our meetup. It's how do they apply that research acumen or research credentials that they have to the real world. Some may go through the publication line, some may go through the, the academic lectureship line, but not all are interested. So one thing is that is important is to incorporate this research skills in terms of market research. So what we are doing right now, even at UX research, is a part of, let's say, a market research, because we worked with marketing team as well. So there's a lot of potential. And right now, India, in those IITs and IIMs, have started a master course on human-computer interaction. So if Mizoram, for example, can be one of the first to, to launch this human-computer interaction program, it would be a good employment prospect for our students in the tech world. I tell you, because why? UX researchers are very well paid in tech companies. They are at par with those MBAs from top-notch universities and engineers. They are also well respected and well paid professionals. Tuan, the second question was, what was your second question? Sorry.
What was the outcome? You gave your results.
Yeah. Especially for Warner Brothers, it was fun. You know why? Because we get to interview the creator of this product. His name was Max, and we got to interview him. And he was like the master of all technology in their company. And the company is very big and huge, but we were just focused on that system. So the outcome was that, one thing was that, because see, you will know, you function as a department of research, and there are people who function as the department of design, and then the engineering team, and then they have the neuroscience. They don't have direct, sometimes they cannot have direct, smooth collaboration. One impact that we were able to make was that we were able to bring together the Department of Research, Design, and the neuroscience team together in order to increase the efficiency of the portal, the software system, by incorporating and interviewing with the creator of this platform, as also the neuroscience team. Because the neuroscience team, what they wanted to do is the study of the brain and how they function, how users or players of video games, they want to know their heart rate. So they want to gather data out of their users. So that was one big impact that we were able to make in this study. And we were able to, because we interviewed a lot of people for this study, and we keep on debriefing. After every interview, we would debrief and, synthesize with our co-workers. And it was a very intense research. So we were able to kind of understand that certain researchers and designers were not being able to use the portal as much as they would want to because of certain hierarchical system among the colleagues. So we were able to bring forth that. So as a researchers, you just don't have to fear and just put out our recommendations. And sometimes it serves the unheard sections of the company.
Interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think Lian raised her hand to ask a question. Sorry, we use Google Meet for work, so Lian raised her hand and then Joel.
Go
ahead, Lian.
Joel, you want to ask a question?
Yes. Hello, ma'am. Yes. Bây giờ trong thấy ma'am.
Thấy liên tục Joel.
Hey, Mizoram trong việc chọn hey kan lâu research về hey kan mu về thấy đàn chọn hey. US situation chu kan mu thấy trên chu internet om chin hi ani deuh na chin hi om ve a I hey work policy ten tiang vela hianin I research te hi a khoi boy vem hey Warner Brothers te po tunlaya chuanin hey internet kan hmu dan chuanin hey a chung lampanga boina te om ve zeu zeu ti ten kan hmu ve ta tiang hi enge adin hun ti vel hi zot ve chin de
Eng buaina tak.
hey management le athun leina lampanga hianin
Oh yeah, tunlay on strike ho mai ti actors ho strike. Imo kum nga ka California kan o mai shem LA San Francisco te hetiang hi chu nya internet actors ho hi chu they tend to Hollywood hi chu atilar ve atira America mase omzia chu it's hey management te hemi tak actors ho problem tak hi chu kalo ngai ven lut tuk lo mase I just want to say something mishing himo America po California po Hollywood studio po nge heta khonge ka tiang Bihara po kan in ang ka to pa hi chan shem hey crisis mishing zia hi shi thiamem he allow swag veka hey demand more and then management kanin hey and withheld nga ti han khatiang ang chanin tech companies apo yan he hierarchy te omno kan tia omve thau hey mishing of course it is based on your skills the merits anita mishing zia hi chu khoin hun apo yan ka shat ve dana chan America ani monilo mo in ang fek tia chuanin le ba ka heta chuanin kashia de pakhat chu kami actors protest vel ang kha chu kalo ngai ven lutuk lawa ma se chut imo mi hi zong du fek kan ni ta tuna ka Warner Brothers vela ka thopui te ang chinte poka zong du fek zonna lo tring du le enge lo chadu fek kan ni ta dik tak soi chuan celebrity te kan ti ang te pole Hollywood studios samtam taka thok khau te po hi zong du fek kan ni ta chu tiangin enge a management ale hetianga a company thok chu an strike me la na wang chu tu man ban le layoff kha kan du lo veka shi thiamem so company rules tiang khan kan follow tho there is freedom but there's always rules to be followed everywhere company heta sang birapo even if you are the CEO or whatever follow to rom if follow du lo chuanin ban kha kan du big lo kan fate kan chom na le ke mani in chom na kha kan hlau du big lo always follow the rules but there's always freedom within the rules and there's always freedom to do what interests you within inside the rules ishe thiamem ke chu kha ka ngai ve dan le ba ka zong du fe kan ni ta an in chom du fe ka tu ni fate chung kwa te bring table on the food mo khatiang kan du chu ban chuanin actors ho strike chu atam zo kan ni ka ring lawa ma se studio sa thok hey ke mi anga hey 9 to 5 day khatiang thok chu a effect lo
thank you very much
thank you you're welcome
research ihan intima ihan in that ni and what are the role that each of you play in carrying out the research.
That's a very good question in the sense because I know it depends. It depends because it depends on the product. Like for example, when I was working for Hack for Los Angeles, we were helping the city of Los Angeles government to set up the civic network. Hey, city ka an develop chat nang kanin sarkar narimut ka anilawa helpers le katiang NGOs le tam tak support ka le engineers le katiang tam takan momota. When I was working for the Hack for LA, kan team kamo kan tam to kai shi thiam there were ai cham chuanin kan participants te kha kan team member te kha kan ni tira, you know. Because kan tamlut to ka it kind of natisia hey, you know, there's he and no tilka the chat ka harlut to ka. So I think sometimes it's always good to work in medium size. Chuanin mase and lawa ko chuanin to hack for LA chuanin 20 plus ka kanita studying on one project. At tamnu to ka chuanin then we know San Jose Akatuan, we were about just barely 8. Come product manager ka efficient. Tuka, she was so efficient and very helpful. Hey, Korean lady, very intelligent, very and til katiam lu tuka UC Berkeley graduate niya tikan Stanford at MBA tikan fel lu maha work ethics such as that was what I really enjoy about doing. So it was about 8. So it depends. It can be large, it can be small, medium, but it depends on how you're able to collaborate well, you know. Listening to UX research from academia, because I thought I knew research, you know, as a PhD in social science. I thought I knew research, but research is so vast that you realize that you don't know half of it, you know, because methods UX research, they borrow in so many methods from like heuristic evaluation. Have you ever heard of heuristic evaluation in research? It's coined by a Japanese researcher, and we're using it. It's very popular in UX design and research. Heuristic evaluation, it's so vast. So it's better to excel in one and incorporate whatever is useful for any research you're doing.
So, in your credentials, yeah, you wrote about the course that you took in Coursera. So that is something that is at our hand.
Yes.
Can you say something about what are the available courses that they can avail so that they can equip themselves for?
Yeah, that's an excellent question, because I think Coursera, it's America ponito. Like if someone is starting or, you know, pivoting to new career, new profession, it's always like to go for something that you don't have to spend so much money on, you know. And Coursera seems to work out well, even for everyone, you know, like even if you're executive in your company or you look into Coursera, and because the fee is not that high, and even if you have to pay, some are free. So I really recommend Coursera. And there is a program called Introduction to User Experience Design and Research. It's run by the University of Michigan. I think that course is very useful for beginners, even for us, for you, for me, to learn about research in a very precise, specific way, you know. It's very useful in that way, because research can be overwhelming, especially all the methods. But this introductions to the principles of user experience offered by in Coursera, I think it's very useful if you are want to learn more about research. I think it's very specific. It gets right to the point, you know, and it's very useful for students. I'm always a student. I mean, I'm sure everyone here is always looking for ways to learn new skills and sharpen their, sharpen their knowledge and skills. So I think Coursera is it's good. And just check into the UX, user experience design and research.
Okay.
Did we record this session?
Yes, and we'll try to make it available in our
Excellent.
website. Okay.
That's nice.
So na tang ome.
Coursera in thoughts on more. There's a project management course as well. Because the basis of a lot of research is to know how a project is handled. So there is a project management course through Coursera that is provided by Google. More than Six Sigma project management, because at the root of every research, at the root of every discovery is project management. It's kind of intensive. Mase kaka hunan ne chuanin poisa ne bok chuanin the kata, just to have an understanding of how a research starts, who leads the research, because at the end of the day, Tilai Canada Ramapo project managers ho he antangkaya mo.
Very good guys.
So kami Six Sigma baka ingi mo ni credentials ka at habok mo for anybody who wants to move to North America.
Yes, that's very good feedback. By the way, Somte is a director of your bank now.
Our next potential resource person.
No, banking them too. It's very boring.
No.
You have all the commerce students here tonight.
Yes, yes, okay.
doubt it.
Kan lasom doon siyang lutukrap sakse.
And it's very good point. Yeah, the project management that she talks about, because product managers, it's like our go-to person, you know. Hey, product managers, they are, you know, we always consult them. They're very indispensable for projects and research. Minzot ro something tipo to ko minzot ro in do hey America life te Canada hey enye in teaching well enye people how, you know, in do means
Nothing in music. Good thing YouTube be doing Nilo.
so they should have some there. If you have a if you have a white husband, you tend to make YouTube channels, and I think that's the trend now. I don't have a sub husband, so.
All right. Anyway, research. I need more. Hey, how do you get what kind of research? If we're interested, Helen Bontang, to collaborate with you, like, you know. What kind of topic would you suggest? Something interesting.
Yeah, we could collaborate. You could be, you know, we can start our own project. See, I know the procedure, the process. Pick up any product. Hey, and yet take a tweet or hey, money. If you see any issues with reels or, you know, things like that, or social media. I've done a research on social media. It's called, and we can create our own apps. You know that, right? Creating an app is not that difficult. We just have to have the idea and give it to our developers. I have worked with this girl. She's an Indian. She works at Google. She lives in Mountain View in California. She started a dating app. Very interesting. So, but I need good people. Like, you would need good people to work with, someone who's really interested. 5 or 6 of us or 10 of us, the number doesn't matter. We could create an app and we could design it, and then just a sketch. First, I want you to look at the Coursera like this that it mentioned. Just a sketch. How would you design an app like that? We could just sketch it, you know. That is called low prototype. Low prototype. Then can sketch stop. Then we just sketch. So hemi a button. We say hemi features. And then that is low fidelity prototype. So on high fidelity prototype too, we actually incorporate that ideas into Figma or kami platform ka mamo idea kami ka technology azu dalu take dang ka tikhan omta. So on developers how kanin and functions ha tikhan. It goes on jaganin ron rengta. Can synthesize ringta. So that is one I did. It's called a dating app. She tries to be so creative. It's a dating app, not just for men or women lovers, but for someone came to a town and they want to discover where should we go and hang out, like which cafe, which hiking place, or which camping site. Like I wouldn't know about it. You wouldn't know about it if you come here, and I wouldn't know much about it in India or that's the app. It's not a dating site just for romantic love, but also for friendship and for group. So you don't have to be engineers to create an app. You just have the idea, then you have a low fidelity prototype, just a paper and a sketch and ideas, and then you do a high fidelity prototyping. We use tools, tools, designing tools. Then you give it to the developers, the engineers. And another thing we could do is that we could run a research sprint, and the existing technology that you use, we could do a research. I can always help. I can always, lead you or guide you. We could function as a team.
That would be nice. We should come up with something we can do together.
Sky is the limit. I mean, you don't have to think like, oh, we are in geography. Doesn't matter. Where you live doesn't matter. See, I have seen people like from the remote corners of, let's say, Chennai or Tamil Nadu, coming here and getting like a multi-million-dollar pay because of that person's motivations and that go-getter dream to fulfill his, her, or their goal to to achieve that. These days, geography doesn't matter. You have the internet. What's stopping you? I mean, that's the kind of guts and attitudes that I think we should always carry on, because I can work. When I was in ISO, I work sometimes from remote. It's many things are remote role, and to her idea ka develop ta aziak ta sketch ta du ka heta ton engineer ho developer ho ka siam dir kha to sia India ra matlom de winati tir ta shi thamem tikan. We come up with our own apps, and we could also do a dating app or things like that for youth,
We'll definitely do something interesting.
Yeah. And I just want to give you another example. And hey, nothing Ivy League University professor so they and hosak and student tiam le driven the hand and topuya anti hosachin. You know what I'm hey, like for example, the Google company, their professor is like you can always have the free spirit to work together.
Yes, I'm okay. It's going to be 9 now. So I think we'll sort of come to an end now. And I need to have an interaction with Maria, and then we have someday with us, and someday here as our president. And yeah, I'm not president. So we're so happy to have you tonight. And like you said, you're a next potential resource person. You can't say no. Anyways, thank you so much, Maria, and to all the participants tonight, because I know that, hela pa katon zanen niya, and lela basa yung pandemic like community sa kaya nung and we did so much during those days, and we could connect with so many. We should bring it back seriously because we have like so many resourceful out there who can, min pui tu le hey nghe knowledge mi di za fak tu le no pang tena an chang ka pui tak tak te kan dan phak na anin ka sha a tu bang chanin um we must definitely do this again. Hey, miss visit the malak na timiyang IQAC heta internal quality assurance cell le Department of Commerce malak na anya, and again we're very happy to be a part of it. And so I think that's all for now, and good night. And thank you very much. Miss Visit, this is your name.